Hello, Happy New Year to everyone in these United States and in the 504. Welcome to 2024, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nate Podcast. Oh, I'm loving this music, y'all. I love this music. I'm just dancing my tail off. Oh, my goodness. I'm just so blessed and happy to have made it undefeated in 2024. Thank the Lord. Amen. Oh my goodness, this music. Oh my goodness. Let me behave. January 1st, 2024. Welcome all of you to Nate Podcast. Thank y'all for listening today. We hope you had a wonderful new year. We ask that you please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, it's a marvelous day here in New Orleans. We got Sugar Bowl fever in New Orleans. Amen. We got a whole heap of people from Texas. We got burnt orange all over the French Quarter. And we also have Huskies from Washington State. And we welcome both teams and both sets of fans. And I want to send a shout out to Miss Jamie, one of my clients. Happy birthday. Hope you enjoy your birthday this year, this month. Yeah, Sugar Bowl fever, everybody, in New Orleans. It's going to be a great game, but we hope everyone in New Orleans, all the tourism, enjoys themselves and have a safe New Year's Day football game. And thank y'all for visiting New Orleans. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about the Saints, the New Orleans Saints. First of all, I just want to, even though I know we might not go anywhere this year, all those doubters that picked Tampa over New Orleans, they're eating their words right now, y'all. They thought Tampa was going to go in there and dominate, but it was the opposite. The Saints went into Tampa and dominated. All the experts, or the so called experts who think they know their stuff, ladies and gentlemen, they don't know nothing. Any given Sunday, that's why you play the games. Let me direct your attention to the screen for a minute. Just look at the insanity of how they disrespect New Orleans and the Saints. Now, any other team or matchup, it would not have been this lopsided. Ladies and gentlemen, direct your screen, your vision for a moment to this screen. I'm going to put up all 51 haters and doubters against the Saints. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the screen. Exhibit A. Exhibit B. Exhibit C. Exhibit D. Exhibit E. Exhibit F. Exhibit G. And finally, Exhibit H, Your Honor. As you look at all these names, these so called experts that picked the Buccaneers to win yesterday, well, the expertise or the license should be stripped. They all disrespected not just the Saints, but New Orleans. Just look at these names, y'all. 51 out of 52 so called experts in sports, ESPN, um, the all kind of sports networks. 51 picked the Buccaneers, but guess what? Them Saints were marching in. Amen. That was a brilliant game, divisional game. The Saints had to win. Ladies and gentlemen, the Saints still need some help this Sunday, and they got to win. So there's no passive um, path to the playoffs. We can't back our way in. We have to win against Atlanta this Sunday at noon. Tampa has to lose to Carolina, and they're going into Carolina, so hopefully home field will work for Carolina. Seattle has to lose if the Saints won a wild card. If Carolina wins and we win the division. But if we want a wild card, we got to win first. Seattle got to lose to Arizona, and Green Bay got to lose to Chicago, who was hot. Chicago won 5 of 7 recently. Go Bears. So all the Saints fans in New Orleans, it's still possible. If you listen to my earlier podcasts, I've had doubts about Dennis Allen and his coaching record in the past. But hopefully, New Orleans will be a resurrecting ground for his career. It looks like he's staying for next year. It looks like Derek Carr is staying for next year. And I hope Derek can be a little bit softer towards fellow players like Drew Brees as far as communicating and treating his fellow men blocking him or blocking for him on the line of scrimmage. So we're going to see this Sunday how the Saints are going to do. Now, I think we're going to win 28-21 New Orleans over Atlanta. I think Atlanta's diminished. Atlanta's been making some strides with the run game. Good job, Atlanta. But they got some other issues because they're only 7-9. The Saints are 8-8. It's a very tight race with Tampa, New Orleans, and Atlanta. And Atlanta's been hanging in there, and they lost to Chicago yesterday, fellow Saints fans. So we got a three-way race. If Tampa wins, it makes it harder for the Saints this Sunday. If Tampa loses and we win, division champs, New Orleans Saints. But if Tampa wins and the Saints win, well, we're gonna need a prayer because we're rooting for two teams this Sunday: Arizona and Chicago. Arizona has to beat Seattle. Chicago has to beat, or should I say, the Packers have to lose to the Bears. That's what I want to say. The Packers play the Bears in Lambeau Field, so that might be a tough game. But you never know. You never know. But the Saints had a great game yesterday. Um, as I mentioned, other things have to happen for us to move forward. And it will be a bad feeling if we finish 9-8 and don't go nowhere. Because earlier this year, y'all, when we lost to Minnesota, when we lost to Green Bay, and when we lost to the Rams, I knew in my heart and soul those were going to come back to haunt us today, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I knew us losing to the Rams and the Packers and the Vikings, who were eliminated. I knew y'all because I've been watching sports for 40 years, especially football. I knew it was going to come back to bite us, and it's coming back to bite us. So, boys and girls of New Orleans, fellow Saints fans, there's still hope. The Saints defense is going to keep them in games, if they're clicking well. Alvin Kamara is going to be out, high ankle sprain, so that's going to be a big loss for us. But we have the defense to keep us in games, and if Derek Carr can minimize mistakes, then we can do well. Let's say we do go to the playoffs. If Derek Carr cannot turn the ball over, if he protects the ball, we got a shot. The Saints had about 4 or 5 turnovers yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. That was dominant, very dominant. So we're going to see, Saints fans, what's going to happen with our team this Sunday. We're going to come home to the Dome, play Atlanta, give them a good game. You know, one of the worst feelings in Orleans Parish, and I'm talking to America, one of the worst feelings in Orleans Parish is when the Saints lose at home to the Falcons. If anybody tries to deny me, you crazy. Our biggest rival, and we have some tough games over the years with the Falcons. Losing on the road in Atlanta, man, a loss is still bad. But if you lose home in New Orleans in the Superdome on Poydras Street next to the Smoothie King Center to the Falcons, oh, that's a problem. Ain't gonna be no second line on Jackson. You heard me? So, ladies and gentlemen, we play the Falcons this Sunday. It should be a great game. I almost don't want to watch it because Carolina and Tampa plays the same time as we play. It's going to be division drama. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen of New Orleans, the New Orleans Saints at 8-8 are still in the playoff hunt, but they got to win first this coming Sunday. Well, we're going to pause here for a minute and give a brief advertisement for a local business in New Orleans. We love supporting local business, so let's go ahead and give our sponsoring advertisement for our podcast.
Bella Delish LLC is owned and operated by myself, Francitta Clemens. We offer private chef, catering services, and lunch throughout the week in the greater New Orleans area.
Hey there, New Orleans. Do you need a hot lunch plate during the week, Monday through Friday? Are you looking for professional catering? Well, look no further. Ladies and gentlemen, Francitta is the woman for you. She can cook it all. Stuffed bell peppers, smothered chicken, okra, cornbread, red beans and rice, and anything that's New Orleans, including gumbo. So if you want professional food and professional service, call Francitta today. Her information is down in the description box. Okay, welcome back, everyone, and Happy New Year again to everyone. Thank y'all for listening to Nate Podcast. Please subscribe, smash the like button, feel free to comment. We enjoy free speech in America because it's a part of our Constitution. So thank y'all for supporting. We were talking about the New Orleans Saints, and I might as well talk about the Saints during football season because when it's over, I'll talk about other things like cell phone addiction with our kids, which is horrible, horrible, horrible. And we need a solution for that. Back to the Saints, y'all. So the Saints are still in the playoff hunt, boys and girls. And the Saints silenced a lot of doubters, 51 doubters, as I showed you guys on the screen um, moments ago. It was only one person that picked the Saints. But now people are seeing that the Saints have a pretty good tight end. The player of the game yesterday, in my opinion, was our tight end Johnson. What a catch he made! Caught through a beautiful ball in the middle of the field, and he caught it with his fingertips. Did y'all see that? I said when he made that catch, that was the ball game right there because that changed field position. Everybody, boys and girls, the field position is a key aspect to winning football games. You want to make your opponent go 99 yards, if at all possible, on every drive. Amen. So beautiful catch in the middle of the field from Carr to Johnson, and I was like, oh yeah, we got this game because we would have punted deep in our territory, and Tampa would have scored, and it would have been a whole different ball game. So the league sees that we have fast receivers, Shaheed, Chris Olave, and we got a spectacular tight end who was catching balls all over the field yesterday. He had over 100 yards, I'm sure. But this is what's solid. The critics, everybody, my fellow Saints fans. Tight end Johnson, he blocks when he's supposed to, and he catches the ball when he's supposed to. And he caught a lot of pivotal um, possessions yesterday, which helped the New Orleans Saints beat the Buccaneers. And shout out to um, our tight end, Mr. Johnson. Thank you very much. So let's say the Saints go to the playoffs, everyone. It's hypothetical. We're not going to have Alba Kamara. We're going to be out of alignment. We're going to go a little bit banged up into the postseason, but at least if we do go, we won't necessarily have to be playing in bad weather. Like if we go to Dallas Stadium, I think we could go marching in Dallas because it's inside. Dallas got some great fans. They make a lot of noise in the AT&T Stadium. Or what about San Francisco, y'all? The number one seed. If the weather's decent in San Francisco and we hold Christian McCaffrey to less than 80 yards, we got a shot. If the Mario Davis And I think we got a lineman called Roach, right? Roach and Granderson. If the Saints could hold Christian McCaffrey to 80 yards, that's a win, and that'll be a close game. And if Carr doesn't make any mistakes, that could be good. Or what if we go to Detroit, y'all? That'll be inside the Superdome. And Detroit beat us earlier, right? And we're going to want some payback. Amen. And and I'm hoping we don't have to go to Los Angeles because that'll be might as well count as a loss because we know what happened 5 years ago with Los Angeles. Amen. So the Saints, if they go to the playoffs with 2 wins in a row, all they got to do is win 3 solid football games. If they play 12 solid quarters in the playoffs, the Saints can march to the Super Bowl. We may lose to the Baltimore Ravens, but it'll be a heck of a year, right? Post Sean Payton, and we miss Sean Payton very much. But this is just hypothetical, y'all, because the Saints' playoffs hopes are still alive because we beat the Buccaneers yesterday, 24 hours ago. Great game. Saints ran the ball. Juwan Johnson, great catches. And even though Kamara went out, we were still able to use backup running back Williams, and he held it down. I give him a B plus. He did pretty good. Going into the playoffs, everyone is about getting healthy, getting momentum, and getting a little bit of luck. Now, I don't see us going deep this year, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see us going to the NFC Championship. Now, we could possibly make it to the divisional. If we win the division, we get a home game, get that crowd noise in New Orleans. You heard me, and we could win in New Orleans. Hopefully, maybe we could beat the Rams in New Orleans if we play them. If we host a home game, you never know. But going into the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen, it's about knowing who you are, minimizing mistakes, because we all know if you turn the ball over in the playoffs, that's a heartbreaker. Because it's like, this is your last game. This is your last game unless you win and advance to next week. So that's a scenario we're looking at, everybody. Saints have to get to 9-8. Next week, Saints play Atlanta, divisional game. Carolina hosts Tampa. And we're all going to be rooting for Carolina next week to beat the Buccaneers. That's all we want. You know, the Saints lost for Christmas, right? So I'm pretty sure y'all were uh, melancholic during Christmas. Amen. But we still in it. Um, it'll be a different story if we were 7-9, eliminated, and my tone will be different today. My words will be different today. But I know about the payback theory. Tampa beat us in our home earlier this year. We beat them in Tampa yesterday. Atlanta beat us in our home. Atlanta beat us in Atlanta. Now Atlanta comes here, and we got a chance to even the score. So that'll be a great thing if the Saints can win this Sunday. But we won't be at full strength because Kamara, who I think is going to the Pro Bowl when he finishes football, Kamara, he's out for the rest of the season, y'all. High ankle sprain. He went back to the locker room twice yesterday. And Tampa plays dirty, y'all. They always play dirty. Jameis Winston got injured with Tampa, remember? Um, Number 45, dragged Jameis jersey awkwardly, and Jameis ankle kind of gave way. So Tampa always plays dirty, y'all. And now we got some banged up players, but we still won. We still got a W. And we got veterans, y'all. So if the Saints hypothetically go to the playoffs with veterans like Demario Davis and Granderson and Cam Jordan, if Cam Jordan goes to the playoffs and gets 5 sacks, we going to the Super Bowl. If he gets 5 sacks, that means we're getting pressure. That means we're getting to the quarterback. That means we could shut down a third down pivotal drive and get the ball back. Get the defense off the field. Just imagine, if you go to the playoffs and Cam Jordan gets 5 sacks and he's almost near retirement, y'all, because he ain't got no much time to play. Maybe one more year. That would be great. But we have to take care of business this Sunday in 6 days. And as I was mentioning earlier, y'all, we have the Sugar Bowl in town tonight, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Washington Huskies, Texas Longhorns. It's going to be a great game. So that's going to be the big game beginning this week. And to end this week, we got the Dirty Birds coming to New Orleans to play us. And y'all, I think the Dirty Birds are diminished, even though they got a good running game. Cordell Patterson's pretty good with Atlanta. Even if we went by a field goal, I would take it. I would take it. I've been critical about Dennis Allen, but um, he's a man, he's a human. He's got to provide for his family, and he's representing the black and gold. So at 8-8, ladies and gentlemen, the New Orleans Saints have a chance to go to the postseason for the first time in about 3 or 4 years. I want to say 3 years. But it would be great if we could go. The players can make some more money because when you go to the playoffs, that's more playing time, that's more work, that's more pay. That's a good thing. With a chance to advance to the next round. So it's a good feeling, y'all. Even though, like I said, we should have beat Green Bay and we should have beat the Minnesota Vikings. But, we're here. We're now focusing on game number 17 of the season. And by the way, y'all, the Saints had 8 home games and 9 on the road. I think that game in London or in Europe, that's a road game. But it'll be pretty good if they could have 9 wins and 8 losses with only 8 home games, and that's kind of unfair. But we shall see come this Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Saints and Falcons, 12 o'clock noon. Well, that's all the time we have, y'all. Thank y'all for listening. And again, we hope you have a spectacular 2024. And I'll try to make another podcast later this week. But we thank all y'all for your support. Please subscribe. And remember, this channel, we're still growing little by little. And pretty soon we're going to be big. So we thank you for your support. Our goal is to encourage, fortify, and even reach out to young people. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy New Year, and we'll see y'all soon.